moto na époque na ye, ouais, pour na yo pe lobi bandi mayo. Ouais. Souvent.
Chérie, laisse-moi, sinon je vais rater mon avion.
Christelle Chibonga Tikangai, na Paris Bakote Mangai.
Chérie, laisse-moi, sinon je vais rater mon avion.
Bongo Tikaya Titako Mona Tata na ye na Brazzaville.
Chérie, laisse-moi, sinon je vais rater mon avion.
Antoinette Tika Nekese, Akokenda Conseil des ministres.
Chérie, laisse-moi, sinon je vais rater mon avion.
Fantasile, na Brazzaville Bakote Langa. C'est toujours lui, l'assassin de la musique, qui habite au 36 de la rue Schaeffer, Paris 16e. Souvent. Ya solo. Nabali bongo mama, Brigitte Kongae, Nazangila Muluwe, Yakaolo Langa Pasi Oyo, Mama Yakaolo Langa, Neba souffrance petite Langaye. Ah chérie, ya solo mama, fantasile. La belle bongo mama, Eliani Kongae, Nazangila Muluwe, mama, Yakaolo Langa na Pasi Oyo, mama, Yakaolo Langa Motutu, Neba souffrance petite Langayo. Café Coco, ah chérie, Osalanga mama, Stelo, Yenina Nadine, Michelle Nagaya, Yaya Gide le spécial, la maman Chéo, Ivano na Mariame, Kote Nandika, Mama Nanga. Boni Miange, Yoka. Nalobaka na bino. Moto oyo balingaka bakale, eza moto nzambe atiaka maboko. Parmi les premiers des premiers.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big round of applause for our ladies in evening gowns designed by Gilles Touret and shoes by Europa Art Shoes.
The competition's becoming incredibly exciting, and I'm sure you'll agree they look absolutely stunning in their elegant evening wear. What did you think?
Impressive, impressive. I must say that these dresses are as nice as those we see in Hollywood on television, don't you think?
Absolutely. Beautiful.
I have to say something. Je pense qu'il est important que les Africains commencent à acheter des vêtements faits par des designers africains, par des stylistes africains. Ces vêtements de Gilles Touret et ces bijoux et accessoires d'Aya Conan de la collection Makeda sont impressionnants. Je pense qu'il faudrait qu'on se dise tous dans notre garde-robe, combien de vêtements africains avons-nous? Il faut qu'on remédie à ça parce que nous avons tendance à porter ces vêtements avec un petit complexe. En tout cas, c'est mon impression. I think it's important. I was saying that it's important that Africans start buying African dresses.
We do have to support our own talent in Africa, definitely.
I also want to add something before we carry on, because remember, I still have to give you my point of view about who was stunning tonight. And I think it was Miss South Africa. She was amazing. She looked at the screen like this and you could see the confidence. It was amazing, isn't it?
I think she really is going to surprise us, but one of my favorites is still Miss Malaika Ethiopia. She's really standing out. She's having such fun out there, which is very important for a competition like this.
I agree for Ethiopia. Beautiful.
Well, the competition is red hot. We're hoping that you're having as much fun as us. But now the burning question. Who of these lovely ladies will make it into the final 10? Join us after the break.
Miss Malaika is so much more than a beauty pageant. It's a celebration of diversity, culture and tradition in every country of the world where people of African origin honor their heritage. From France to Gabon, from the United States of America to Cameroon, from Zaire to Nigeria. But unfortunately, we're not only bound together by our love of Africa, but also by a dread disease called HIV/AIDS.
En tant qu'Africains, nous sommes aujourd'hui face au plus grand challenge de notre histoire. Plus grand que celui de l'esclavage, plus important que celui de la famine. Un challenge encore plus important que celui de toutes les guerres confondues. Si nous ne sommes pas capables de nous protéger contre le sida, nos économies, nos pays et nos propres vies risquent d'être perdues.
Rightly said by Philip, protection is the key here to save lives. It may interest you to know that half of the sufferers of HIV/AIDS are under 25, and every single day, 6,000 more are becoming infected. Scary, huh? The youth are the future leaders of tomorrow, and Africa cannot afford to lose them, and yet millions do not know how HIV is transmitted, how to prevent the infection, or simply their HIV status.
The spread of HIV/AIDS is preventable. Already, countries like Senegal and Uganda have made huge progress in combating the disease. But to beat HIV/AIDS, you must arm yourself with knowledge. Knowledge of your HIV status, knowledge of how you can get the disease, and knowledge of how you can prevent the disease.
Alors, chaque fille que vous verrez ce soir sur cette scène est ambassadrice de son pays et a pour mission d'assister et d'informer les jeunes sur le sida. Elle devra, tant que faire se peut, voyager dans le pays pour organiser des conférences, collecter des fonds pour la lutte contre le sida, mais surtout, elle devra être un modèle pour la jeunesse de son pays.
The winner of Miss Malaika International will have even a greater responsibility. She will work closely with the United Nations Secretary General's Office and the African Union and other African partnerships to prevent HIV/AIDS in Africa. What a task.
Join us now as we remember the millions of Africans, young and old, who have succumbed to this terrible disease. Each contestant will bear a torch tonight as a symbol of her respect for all those who have passed away in her own country.
Joignez-vous à nous dans la pensée que nous aurons pour les millions de personnes, jeunes et vieilles, qui ont succombé à cause de cette terrible maladie. Chacune des filles portera une torche en mémoire de toutes celles et ceux qui sont morts du sida dans leurs pays respectifs.
Through the storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of the storm, there's a golden sky, and the sweet song of the lark. Walk on through the
Beautiful people of Africa, together we can fight HIV/AIDS and we can certainly win. Know your status, engage in safe sex, and spread the word, not the disease.
L'Afrique réunie peut combattre le sida et j'ai la certitude que nous gagnerons. Mais pour y arriver, commençons par nous informer sur notre sérologie. Surtout, protégeons-nous pendant l'acte sexuel et répandons autour de nous le message de prévention, pas la maladie.
Now we have to say goodbye to 17 of our 27 contestants. The question is, who will make it into the final round? Who will be able to answer the tough questions set by our judges and go on to be crowned Miss Malaika International? Join us after the break to find out. This is it. Only 10 girls can go on to have a chance of winning the honor of being Miss Malaika International. Philippe and I have the results right here in our hands.
Nous y sommes presque. Seulement 10 filles peuvent désormais prétendre au titre de Miss Malaika International et Michael et moi avons donc en notre possession les résultats.
Now, in no particular order, the final 10 are... Miss Benin.
Miss Botswana.
Miss Ethiopia.
Miss France.
Our fifth top 10 finalist tonight is Miss Gabon.
Miss Germany.
Miss Kenya.
Miss Madagascar.
Our audience tonight is going to like this. The homegirl Miss South Africa. Miss Zambia.
Wow, I did not expect that lineup. How amazing. I mean, Miss Malaika Ethiopia, obviously one of my favorites.
Yes,
I told
agreed.
you Miss South Africa was going to surprise everybody.
Agreed, but I'm surprised. All my favorite, Miss Colombia, Guadeloupe, all that I mentioned are not in. Surprising. Michelle, tell us now. What did you feel at this stage? It's important because, people are listening.
Well, my stomach's in enough for them right now. It really is. It's very scary to be up there in the top 10, but I must say I never expected it. So for me, just to be in the top 10, I wasn't even thinking about winning. It was fantastic.
Yes, but at this stage, because the girls are now ready, I want you to give them some tips, some things that they should do, say. Is there something that they should do?
I think the most important thing is that they should relax and try and be themselves as much as possible so that the judges can actually get a very good idea of who they are.
The
That's
competition is tough, and I must say I'm quite impressed here. But, Michelle, you know what? I'll have to go.
Oh no, are you going to the stage to be with the girls?
Yes,
That's not fair.
Je suis obligé de passer devant. I have to go in front to help with the translation. So it's sad part. It was a pleasure working with you.
And more pleasure working with you.
Let me kiss you. Bye-bye. Ciao.
The French way, right? Thanks, Willie. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Michelle. Yes, it is question time, the dreaded question time. And first up, we have Miss Botswana, Thandi. Thandi, pick a judge from the calabash. Thandi has picked Rosindra Grasa.
Thandi, na sua opinião, quais são as causas que levam indivíduos a desencadearem ataques terroristas?
In your opinion, what are the reasons behind that lead people to strike terrorist attacks on the world?
À ton avis, qu'est-ce qui pousse les gens à faire des attaques terroristes?
I think that the reason why people start terrorist attacks is because of hatred and the.
Je pense que la raison pour laquelle les gens font ces attaques est surtout la haine.
And the difference of politics we are having among our countries.
Et les différences que nous avons en termes de politique dans nos différents pays.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you, Thandi. We have Miss France. Pick a judge. Fatou, from the calabash. And pick carefully. Well done. Fatou has picked Emmanuel Pontier.
Bonsoir mademoiselle, moi je voudrais savoir une chose. Vous êtes ici ce soir grâce à vos origines africaines. Je voudrais savoir donc aujourd'hui ce que représente pour vous l'Afrique, cette Afrique que vous portez en vous. Qu'est-ce qu'elle représente pour vous en 2004?
You here as a French lady but with African origin. I want to know, what does Africa mean for you today and means for you for 2004?
Effectivement, je suis de nationalité française, mais je suis aussi d'origine sénégalaise.
I'm French, I have a French nationality, but I'm also of Senegalese origin.
Et je suis très contente d'être de cette origine car au Sénégal, les femmes sont les plus belles, donc je suis contente de représenter ce pays ainsi que la France. Merci beaucoup.
I'm happy to represent Senegal because Senegal is a very beautiful woman, and I'm also happy to represent France. Thank you very much.
Merci, Mademoiselle France. We have Miss Germany. Jill, pick a judge from the calabash, please. Nerve-wracking moments, ladies and gentlemen. From the US, Mr. Gene Harley.
What do you see as the most important issue for women that needs to be addressed at this time?
À ton avis, quel est le sujet, le challenge le plus important pour les femmes de nos jours?
The most important issue to address at the moment is tackling AIDS, HIV for women.
Je crois que le plus important, c'est de pouvoir combattre le sida et le VIH pour les femmes.
Because more than half of those who are infected with HIV are women.
Parce que la plupart des personnes affectées sont les femmes.
Therefore, the UN AIDS campaign also has its team Women, Girls, HIV and AIDS.
Et c'est pour ça que la campagne des Nations Unies a pour thème les femmes, les enfants et le sida.
That's why women have to be supported in tackling AIDS.
Et je crois donc que cette campagne doit être supportée pour combattre le sida.
Thank you. Danke. Our next delegate, all the way, Miss Madagascar. I couldn't see that sesh, Miss Madagascar. Miss Malaika Madagascar has picked Judge Paul Bié-Yene.
Merci. Selon vous, qu'est-ce que les femmes doivent faire en Afrique pour être plus présentes dans le monde du travail?
What should women do in Africa to be more involved in work, in the professional work?
Tout d'abord, je pense qu'elles doivent faire moins d'enfants.
First of all, I think they should make less babies.
Ensuite, elles doivent oser revendiquer leurs droits.
And secondly, they should dare to ask for their rights, to fight for their rights.
Et elles doivent être encouragées. Je vous remercie.
Must be encouraged. Thank you very much.
Good answer, Miss Madagascar. Good answer. Miss Zambia, why don't you pick a judge from the calabash, please? Thank you, Cynthia. And you've picked Judge Françoise Trétou.
Bonsoir. À quelle femme célèbre aimeriez-vous ressembler? Dites-nous en quelques mots pourquoi.
To which very popular woman you would like to compare yourself, and tell us why.
Well, I emulate a lot of traits in a lot of different people. But if I am to pick on one person, I think I would pick Mother Teresa.
J'ai de l'admiration pour plusieurs personnes, mais si je devais en choisir une, je choisirais ma mère Teresa.
Because she led a life not for herself but for others.
Parce qu'elle a vécu non pour elle-même, mais pour les autres.
She dedicated all her work to striving towards helping the underprivileged, the women in society, and addressing the key issues in society.
Et elle a dédié toute sa vie à se battre pour les personnes défavorisées et à améliorer leurs conditions de vie.
This, I believe, is very important for each and every woman in the world, and not just Africa, because we have to stand up for ourselves.
C'est important pour toutes les femmes, non pas seulement en Afrique, mais partout dans le monde.
Thank you.
Merci.
Great answer, Miss Zambia. Possibly the greatest woman of the century, Mother Teresa. Gugu, all the way from South Africa. Let's give her a round of applause as she takes a judge. Terry Mungu.
If the only way you could serve a person's life would be to actually lie, would you go ahead and lie? And what would be your reasoning?
Si la seule solution pour sauver la vie d'une personne est de mentir, est-ce que tu mentirais et pourquoi?
I believe that honesty is a virtue, but if the person were not guilty and
Être honnête, l'honnêteté est une vertu, mais
really that person's life needed to be saved, I definitely would.
Mais je pense que s'il faut sauver la vie de la personne, je vais mentir.
Thank you.
Merci.
South Africa, Miss Malaika, South Africa. Tough question there from Judge Terry Mungu. We have Miss Kenya. Why don't you pick a judge from the calabash, please? Once again, Emmanuel Pontier.
Si vous gagnez ce soir, quelle sera votre toute première action?
If you win tonight, what will be your first action?
I believe the youth are the future of tomorrow, and I would advocate for peer education.
Come again? You advocate for?
I believe that the youth are the future of tomorrow, and I would advocate for peer education.
Je crois en la jeunesse et je vais me battre pour l'éducation des jeunes.
I feel that through that influence, we are able to come together and help tackle the issues that affect our society.
Je crois qu'avec ça, nous pourrons être ensemble pour pouvoir combattre ou pouvoir travailler pour résoudre les problèmes de nos sociétés.
Thank you.
Merci.
Thank you, Miss Malaika Kenya. Miss Malaika Gabon. Some good answers coming up to now. Why don't you pick a judge? 3 more judges, 3 more questions. Judge Jean Harley.
What, in your opinion, is the greatest gift Africa has brought to the world?
À votre avis, quel est le meilleur cadeau que l'Afrique a emmené au monde?
Alors, l'Afrique, c'est le berceau de l'humanité.
Africa is the cradle of mankind. I'll make it, don't worry.
Et nous pouvons découvrir différentes cultures, différentes matières premières.
It allows to discover a different culture and a different wealth.
Et je pense que l'Afrique peut apporter sa force. Et aussi, s'il y a un problème qui nous détruit ici en Afrique, c'est le sida. Donc l'Afrique.
I think that Africa can contribute, and if there is a problem that is destroying us, it's AIDS.
Et donc, je disais, l'Afrique se met contre la lutte contre le sida. Donc, on peut contribuer à lutter contre le sida et aussi pour
We
le
can help in fighting AIDS.
And development of Africa.
That I don't have to translate.
Merci. Miss Ethiopia, pick a judge. Miss Ethiopia has selected Terry Mungu.
If indeed you were selected Miss Malaika 2004 and had an opportunity to address the youth of Africa on 3 priorities, what would those be?
Si vous deveniez Miss Malaika 2004 et que vous avez